If I say I don't believe in the authority of a God or theism, or that natural rights exist only as far as your peers are willing to agree that they do, or that there is no inherent value within anything other than that which one ascribes to it, then I am usually, at least on one of these fronts, met with an almost hostile reaction to what could only have been taken as a direct offense. Yet, all I have done is share my opinion, and let's not even mention victimless crimes. These atrocities within the legal eye for an eye, non-rehabilitation system, or the flaws of the mob rule democracy. Atheists are more few than theists. Nihilists are more hard to come across, and anarchists are certainly more rare than these still. And when you have a person deeply postmodern in his view of archons and truth claims, and by default classified by these three groups, there is few that sit at his table for lunch. But then again, I seem to view almost every traditional or orthodox approach to social situations as the lowest common denominator of intelligent ideas. These commonized ideas are counter-logical and misguided, usually by governments, because the class of folk that take your money to lead you have no interest in you being able to do this for yourself. Ergo, retarded, ham-handed social policy. So many of our ideologies are poisonous, like ownership. Ownership of both things and people is a significant portion of the problem that afflicts us through our society, in marriage, government, and religion, and all the cultural influences these institutions have on us. There is a sense of ownership of the participant in governments as a taxpayer and recipient of social goods, and in religion through the same, through tithing and charity, and also in marriage. When there is ownership in regards to humans, as is the case in all countries, because borders are nothing more than fence lines for the cattle within, the owners have an expectation of their property, whereas the owned have a sense of selflessness. But anytime one party demands and the other party is under duress to provide, there will be a struggle to reform. When this dynamic ensues, there will be a counter-struggle to have the positions maintained, causing much damage to the masses. This is seen in the creation of ultimate law and hierarchy, and then the use of these things to oppress those with the objective to rule. Therefore, self-governance is never created nor opted for. Who would make money off of it? Who would make money off this cattle? So postmodernism, I believe, has its highest effect through anarchy, as opposed to nihilism and atheism, other than their ability to dismantle the general adherence to truth claims. Anarchy, however, pierces the shield of authoritative rule by focusing on the most influential of the culmination of modernity, which is the state. An institution that is more powerful and more influential than religion in current times and places. The state, it takes a monopoly on truth claims. Its ethical stance is ignominious by force of death, and its legitimacy stems from participation in choosing how bad the slaughter will be. This is how I can understand or sympathize somewhat with the extreme patriots the New World Order is, the truthers, and their fear and frustration of the current situation. Because if you ask anybody on the street and if Washington is messed up or corrupt, you're going to get plenty of affirmations of this. We can all see that the water is rising in the ship, and yet we just sit and listen as the band plays on. And the few of us who are alerting of impending doom on the forefront are just labeled as, hysterics. When you're arguing people, they want to hear the answer. And they'll say, if not a government or a state to take care of us, then what? If not a God or theology to tell us how to live, then who? Or more accurately, if not what I thought of as true, then what? And that's the real trick. What they want is a more accurate depiction of the shadows in the wall. And so when one tries to sell them on the notion that the shadows are only a distraction from what is real, it's a tough pitch. They want a yes or a no. They want a left or right, a right or wrong. They're hopelessly addicted to the fallacy of dichotomy, because it's easy. They're forever bound by seeing the self versus the other, the me versus the you, the this versus the that, and it just frustrates one, and it brings a person like me to questions like, why is it that no one has created a free society of scientific-minded folk who are purely dedicated to the idea of emergent governance? Why is it that every acre has been taken? Why is it that every body is owned? Every effort is taxed, They charge us for our water, they tax our carbon, they make us support all of their failing federal institutions. And I just want to know, how long can it go on? How much of this can everybody take? How long will it take until we rebel once again and get tricked into it once again?